Hi, welcome back to the channel. This week we're going to be putting some new canvas on these old deck chairs which I've had since about 2009, 2010. I can tell you the story of why I got them, how come I've got them, but I'll do that at the end. If you're interested, you can stick around for that. Otherwise we'll just get on with the project, and hopefully it'll be a short one so I can add the story at the end. Now the first thing I need to do is I need the measurements of the deck chair to know how much canvas do I need. So I've done all of that, I've been and I bought the canvas, but I'm going to show you how to measure. Now what I'm going to be doing is just one layer. You can do a complete loop if you wanted to, so that your back and your front all look the same. The canvas, if it's on special, you could do that, but when it's normal price, it does get a bit expensive, especially when you've got 4 chairs to do. So first off, you need to measure your material and have a deep enough pocket for this bar to go through. This bar actually has screws at each end, so you can take it off, pop it through the pocket where you've stitched the hem, and then screw it back on. And there's one of those at the top, and there's also one at the bottom, right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick, unfortunately I don't have 2 tables the same height, but hopefully this will work. And I'll try not to get my rear end in all the time. So to measure it, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to measure how much material I'm going to need to do the hem. How deep a pocket will I need? So that, I think, that's 15 centimetres, gives a decent sized gap, so about 6 inches. So that's that one and that one. So now from the top of the rail to the end of that rail, let's see, take it through this, I don't want to take it over that because that's going to give me a false reading. From there to there, is my tape measure twisted? No. Okay, there to there is 41 centimetres, 41 inches, which is 104 centimetres. Remembering now I need 6 inches there and 6 inches there for a pocket. So 41 plus 6 is 47, plus 6 is 53. Yeah. So it's 104, 110, 116 centimetres. So I've already taken the bar off one of these. And that way when I'm sewing or when I'm hemming, I can make sure I've got the right depth pocket for this to fit in. So also, just get around there so I know where it is, the canvas I've got a navy blue and white chevron. Actually, that's the navy blue and white. And this is it's an interesting blue. I don't know what kind of blue you'd call that one. But in the shop that looked like navy blue, and that one actually looked black. But out in the daylight I can see it's not. This is actually navy blue. So that's our material. And my rod to measure my pockets. So let's go and start cutting and sewing. Okay, so here we are on the floor. First question I had for myself was, Do I do it with the chevron horizontal going up the chair, or do I do it vertical going up the chair? I think I like the horizontal better. I'm a bit worried about my eyesight and that going up sending me a bit funny. I think that way would be a lot better. So, I didn't write down any of those measurements, did I? Let's see if my memory was any good. I had 104 plus 6 was 110. Now, let me see. Is that right? Because that's not going to be right. It was 6 inches, wasn't it? So, good job. I thought about it. So that is actually 119. And that will give me that much pocket. Or should I go to 120 and give it a really decent pocket? I think I might do that. I'm going to do it to 120. Now, this material is 150 wide. Whoops. Just got to see how much did I buy. Can I do it horizontally? I was sure I asked for 1.5 metres. But it doesn't look square to me. That's 100. I can do it. I can do it horizontally, which is good. One thing I did forget to do was measure how wide the canvas needs to be to sit in. So if I measure from there to there, that's actually 20 inches, which is 51 centimetres. Now the selvage edge I can just turn over and sew down. That isn't going to fray. But when I cut it down the centre to get 2 different pieces, remembering I've got 4 chairs, that will have to be folded twice on the hem. So if I allow for 1 centimetre this side and 2 centimetres that side, that's 41 plus 3 is 44 centimetres wide. Then I have to cut it. Right. So I'm going to pin it, or at least find where my 44 is, and hopefully it's on one of the points. And it's not quite on a point. The point is, do you know what? I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to just do it on the point, cut straight down so I don't have to pin all the way. I can always tuck it in a little bit more. Okay, that makes life a lot easier for me rather than having to pin it all. So we'll do it on this point here. No, see, I've stuffed up. Why did I do that? I shouldn't measure twice, cut once. It was 51, not 41. That's alright. 51 plus 3. On a minute. Alright, let's do it to 55. Luckily, it's too long, so I'm going to be chopping that bit off anyway. So 54 puts me on this one here. You know what? Oh, excuse me. What's that? That's 53. That's 1 centimetre less than what I wanted, isn't it? No, that's 54. Put it on there. 53. Alright, it's going to be very small seams. So I'm going to do it on this one. There. There. Still not giving myself a lot of room, am I? I might do it to there. Do it to that one. Okay, now what we need to do is, I've got enough length. I'm going to make sure I've got the width correct. Now this side is a selvage edge, so that's only going to need turning over once. I'm not going to need to tuck it in, although it might look need to. If it is, I'm not going to worry about it. It's going to be underneath the chair, you're not going to see it really anyway, only at the back. So, to make sure I've got enough, I'm going to put this bar on the edge of the selvage. There's 2 rows of holes that far in. So I know that's going to be turned in there. And I need to make sure I've got enough at this end to do a double turn, because that's going to be a raw edge, which I don't know about the canvas. I've never used it before, never worked with it before like this type. I don't know if it'll fray or not, so I'm going to put a double edge on it just to make sure it's secure. So I'm going to take it, make my life easier, to the peak here. Now I can turn it in, remembering you need to bring it in here as well, because you don't want it flush with the sides of the frame of your chair. You need a little gap either side. So if I put that on the edge there and take it to this one, I'm going to be folding it in, so I bring it to here, which is too much of a gap. So if I take it to that peak, then I've got plenty of room to turn. I could even turn this in twice, it won't matter. I'll see how I go, but I think it would be better on that peak to give me that extra space. As with anything that you're doing, if you're going to cut anything, whether it be timber, whatever, measure twice, cut once, because once you've cut, that's it. I'm still debating. I turn that in once. I think I might turn that in twice, take it to there, and then I know I've got enough to leave a gap on both ends. So I'm going to cut it all the way down on this peak. And I really shouldn't be playing music. Okay, I'll be quiet. Pause the music so I don't get done for copyright. Okay, so that's the first one done. Now it's still going to be too long, but we can do those measurements afterwards. I want to get this one done. And actually, now what I'll do, I'll show you that bit for the length, because the rest I can do off camera and come back to you when they're being sewn up. Or you don't need to see me sew them, even I can sew them all up and then come back to you once they're finished, and then we can fit them to the frames. So the length from the top bar to the bottom bar was 104 centimetres, and I've measured it again. I've gone around it, and I don't think I need to leave a huge pocket. If I do it to there, do it to 14 centimetres, I think that's a big enough pocket. So 104 plus 28 is 32. Now on that I also need to put a little hem before I turn it over. So let's do another centimetre on each end, which will take me to 134 centimetres long, which is there. Move it out a bit, move it up a bit. It's 84. 131, 32, 134 is there. What I'm going to do is line that up with the joint in the tiles, and that way I know I'm cutting a straight line. When I find my scissors, how about we take it to the tip? Just a little bit extra to give us room to play. We can always cut it off, we can't add it back. So we'll take it to there. That way I can run the scissors down the line of grouse, and I know I'm going in basically straight line if the tiler did a good job of laying my tiles. Okay, so that's one full piece ready for sewing. So I'll get the other ones done, I'll sew them up, put the pockets in, ready for the bars to go in, and I will see you when this is done. Okay, I thought I'd bring you back to show you this bit. Oh, I've decided what I'm going to do. I'm going to just do one, put the chair together, and show you the whole thing finished. All in the one video, rather than try and do all of them. Put them all together. That's going to make it longer before I can get the video finished. So, I'll show you what I've done here. I brought the bar with me, and and measured it, and what I'm doing is I'm turning it in, even the selvage edge, so that I've got matching on both sides, because I thought it'd look a bit silly if I've only got a very narrow edge down here and then I've got a really wide edge here, roll of stitching. So I'm making them the same size. I've gone in 2.5 centimetres and then again 2.5 centimetres, and that way it'll be the same all the way down on both sides. So I've done one at that end as well. So once I've done that, then I'm going to turn 1 centimetre at that end and then the 14 centimetres to make the pocket. And then all you'll see then is one row of stitching on this side. Okay, so I'm going to shut, oh, I can't shut up, can I? I'll see you when I've finished all the sewing. I don't think you really need to watch all the sewing. Right, nearly there. I thought I would show you what I've done so far. So I've turned them in. I did 2.5 centimetres inside and then 2.5 centimetres again on both sides. And that way I've got a nice even hem. Otherwise it would have looked a bit silly if I'd have only done one stitch on the selvage side and had it down here and then had a big one down this side. And then at the top I measured down 1 centimetre and then stitched that line to hold that down. I noticed that this fabric canvas does actually fray as you're working with it. So I did 1 centimetre down, stitched that, and then I went 17 centimetres down and stitched that. And that is the perfect size for that to slide in, no problem at all. And I've got a little bit of space on each side. Not a lot, but just enough that there's, otherwise it'd be too narrow for you to actually sit in. So from there, what I had to do now was, and make sure I'm on the right side. I am. Remember, it was 104 centimetres from the top of that rail to the bottom of the bottom rail. So I've measured down from the top down to here to 104 centimetres. Now, this is a little bit longer than I thought it was. So for me to get 17 centimetres again for the rail, I measured the 17 centimetres and I've got this much left over to play with. So what I'm going to do, it won't matter that it's longer than the other one, more than 1 centimetre, because that stitching is going to be underneath and you're not going to see it anyway. As you can see, here's the canvas fraying. So what I'll do, I'll stitch this one down first so you can see how I do it and what I do. You can always fast forward this if you don't want to see it. I might even just, I think what I'll do, I'll mumble to myself to keep the camera rolling, and then I can just fast forward it, not fast forward it, speed up the sewing. Nothing worse than watching a sewing machine going. Right, okay, so that is out, and hopefully the machine's making strange noises which I don't like. Now, before I sew that, I'm just going to check because that doesn't look straight to me. It's not. What have I done wrong? Okay, take that out before I start sewing. Something doesn't look right. $1.17 is there. Okay, I'm going to put the pin higher up, I think. That looks better. Now, let's just see, does that fit in there? Yep. And then, I don't know, I must have just measured that one too far down, I don't know. Don't know what I did. Anyway, let's start again. Okay, so there's the two pockets now made. And what have I got around here? I'm taking bits with me everywhere. Chop these ends off. I did do a reverse on that one, so that's okay. Okay, so there's one canvas done. So what we'll do now is we'll go back outside and we will put this chair together. And then the rest of them I can do during the evening when it gets dark. You don't need to be seeing the whole lot being done. It's now 5:05 on Saturday evening, so I've only got what, 2.5 maybe hours of daylight, or good daylight. So I want to get a few other things done outdoors before I lose that light. So let's take the camera outdoors again. Okay, here's our chair. It took me a while to get it set up. I couldn't work out which way all the bits and legs went. So I've lost one of the screws as well. So I'm going to start this again with new screws, and they're actually longer screws. So hopefully they'll be fine. Okay, so the way it works is this hole on here is down at the bottom. This one is up near the top. Why? I don't know. So what I'm going to do, I'll start this one off first and just see, make sure it's going the right way. Yep. Okay, so I can now see a bit there. And I can see a little bit there. So that one is up at the top, which means that's that side, and that one's at the bottom, so that's that side. Okay. So let's thread our canvas. in, that's in, that's in there. So I can now tighten that one up. And then this side. That doesn't look too bad. Oops. And I can lower it and lower it. That looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. Let's get it back all the way up. I'll sit on it and let's hope I don't fall through. See how good my stitching is. Yeah, so that's a bit too high up. Needs to go back one, I think. But anyway, there's the deck chair. I've got 3 more to go. So when they're all done and I get them up at the pool area on a nice day, it's going to be a cool day tomorrow, then I'll take a photo, add it to another video at some stage. I am dripping. I'm going to be going in the pool shortly. Anyway, come back a bit earlier than I expected. Just to let you know, maths was never my subject in school. Hated it, loathed it, didn't want to know anything about it. Give me English any day. So of course my maths and my calculations of making my deck chair seats didn't work out quite right. The first one I did, it was sort of, when you fold your chair up, the canvas is supposed to be taut between top and bottom, and then when you open it up it sags to sit in. Well, mine was sort of hanging around a bit, looked a bit floppy, so what I did, I took the bottom bar out and I turned it over. The only problem is I think I'm going to have to put another screw in. I'll show you that later on. But what I want to show you is, I was measuring it, that it was 104 from the top of the bar to the bottom of the bar. And then I was going to be turning it down 1 centimetre and then 17 centimetres. I wasn't actually turning it down 17 centimetres. What I had to do was take the top and measure 17 centimetres down and make the pocket. That means I've got 8.5 centimetres. I've been doing it, first one and now this one, that I was adding 17 centimetres to the top and 17 centimetres to the bottom, and now my bottom pocket is like this. I might make that the top pocket actually, because a lot of the weight will pull down on that. So I could cut it off, but I can't be bothered trying to get it straight. So make sure when you're measuring you get all your maths, write it down. I just got it written on a docket, so make sure you write everything down and double check it and make sure that you've got exactly what you need. And while I'm at it, I measured all the chairs again. 2 of the chairs were 103, 2 of them are only 97, so it's lucky that I did check that, otherwise that one would have had a very loose canvas on it. So anyway, that's a bit of an explanation for you. I will make note of it at the beginning of the video where I'm talking about measuring, just to let you know to hang on, to keep watching, because I'm no good at math. I'll see you soon. Remember, I've been saying all the way through here, measure twice, cut once. Every now and again I would measure 5 times to cut once. Well, I so far have got one perfect chair. I'll show you. She's is all folded up and the canvas is the perfect length. Now this one is the one that had the very long pocket. If I turn it up this way, you see where I had the extra and I made the very long pocket. That actually fits perfectly. So what I now need to figure out is what went wrong. This one broke. Okay, let's have a look at this one. If I put this one back where it's supposed to be, let me get that on the right side of that. Put the bar, I haven't screwed it back in yet because I don't know if I've got the right material on here. They're not easy to get back in. There we go. And see how straight that is? That's not pulling straight at all. That's very loose. Now, this one, which was the smaller of the four, is supposed to be 97. I can't even fold it up. That's too short. So I don't know where my measurements went wrong with that one. And this one, I'll put the bottom rail on. If you measure that against the top rail, look how short it is. I can move that rail down a bit. That will work for that one. But I don't know what to do with the one that's too tight. This one I can actually take the bar out of the top and roll it over. What I might do is measure this one and measure the one that's too tight and see if I could swap them over maybe. See if that will work. So while I do that, I'll stop the camera. You don't want to watch me struggling. Otherwise, I'm going to have to try and get more material and use this for making cushions. I can make cushions, it's not going to go to waste. So I'll see you when I get back and I've solved this puzzle. Hi, I'm back again. I went to the shop. These two are okay. This one's a little bit loose, not as loose as it was, because what I did was I've turned the bar over to take a bit of the extra slack. So I've got two chairs that can actually now go up the top. These two where the canvas is too short, what I've done, I actually had an email to say that my textile shop up the road is closing down and they're moving to another suburb. Still close enough to go shopping at, but not as convenient as just up the road. So anyway, what I did, everything's going out on special and the canvas was going out at 50% off. So I went and got some more of the dark navy blue. So I've got enough now to do two more chairs and I can use that for cushions. But while I was there and it was on special, I thought I'd have a contrast for the cushions as well. And I'll make some yellow and white cushions. I think that will look quite nice against the blue. So anyway, that is the end of the deck chair saga. I'm sorry this one took so long. It was supposed to be a simple job. Again, I can't stress it enough. Measure twice, cut once, write down your measurements. You will have noticed all the way through I kept adjusting my measurements. It would go from 103 to 104 centimetres, then it would be 17 centimetres, then it would be, and I was all over the shop because I didn't write them down right from the beginning. So anyway, lesson over. Chairs are done. I'll do those two another day. I do want to get this video up tonight, and I've got a couple of things that I've got to get done. I've got my family coming for Christmas, my Christmas lunch on Sunday. It's now Wednesday. So I've got to get all of their presents sorted out. Crafting, of course. I will show you what I made after they've already received them on Sunday. So that could be next week's video. Thank you for sticking around to the very end. I really appreciate your time. So next Wednesday is Christmas Eve. So what better video to put up on Christmas Eve than a Christmas craft video. So have a great week, and I shall see you all next week. Bye for now. Okay, for those of you that were interested in the deck chairs, why have I got them, how did I get them? Back in 2008, I was helping a friend. She had her own business doing functions, and she had a Christmas function, it's a corporate one, where she sold tables of 10 to businesses for their Christmas party. So what we had to do was decorate a ballroom at one of our resort hotels, and we had the theme of Christmas at the beach. So we did the room up, we got some 12-foot Christmas trees, but we only opened up sort of like 2/3 of it. The back end we had it flush against a wall. Now one thing I had to mention to her was to be very careful with the decorations, otherwise it would be front heavy and would fall. So we did that. I can't remember how many trees we had. And then we did the stage where the band was. We did that up to look like the bow of a boat. So we had like the bollards with the rope that they have at hotels. We put those around the edge of the stage, make it like the barrel shape of the boat. And I made a steering wheel on a stand. I've got a whole heap of photos of all the production and how I made it, the construction and everything. I also made a lighthouse out of the inner tubes of like wrapping paper, so it was the long ones, joining them together and then wrapping them with cardboard. I even had a clock mechanism, and I put a little torch on the second hand, so that as the second hand was going around, the light would flash out of the top of the lighthouse. We had market umbrellas that had the names of the islands, like Rottnest Island. We had some quokkas hanging from it. We had some rubber dolphins, because there's a lot of dolphins that if you go over by boat, you'll often get a pot of dolphins all swim in front of you all the way into the bay, into the dock. There was also Penguin Island, so we had all these penguins hanging from these market umbrellas, and Garden Island, which is our naval island, so we had all these naval battleships hanging around, and had some planes and that. So it looked really good. And then one section we had beach umbrellas, and we put 2 of the deck chairs underneath each beach umbrella, had the esky with boogie boards and your thumbs and all of that. But getting our hands on these deck chairs was the mission that I had, mainly because to buy brand new, they're very expensive. So I listen to an oldies radio station, it's called Curtin FM. You can listen to it online, and I can tell you now Sunday is the best day to listen to it, from 9 AM Perth time through to 6 PM Perth time. So check out what time it is in where you live, and work out from 9 AM to 6 PM on a Sunday. It's great oldies music, and the three presenters that they have are terrific guys. Now it could change at the moment because of Christmas. They do tend to change their presenters. But I rang them up and I put it out there and I said I was just wondering if anybody out there would happen to have any old deck chairs hanging around in their shed or garage that they don't want anymore, and would be happy to part with them. You know, I'm happy to pay for them if need be, and it doesn't matter what condition they're in because nobody's actually going to be sitting in them. We're using them as props for a function. Well, I had quite a few people rang the radio station and they passed on my phone number, or they took the phone number and rang me, passed the number on and the name of the person that rang in. And one guy had 2 chairs that he just gave to me, let me have them. Another one had 1 chair that I could take, and another one had 1 chair that he charged me $5 for. Still a bargain, didn't matter. So that's how I ended up with the chairs. And of course when the function was over, I brought everything home for storage because I've got a big shed up there, and the canvases were rotten, so I cut all the canvases off and threw them out. And I painted them all up because I thought they'd look nice out in my garden, not realising that in 2024 I would be installing a pool. So since 2009, after Christmas, I got the chairs, and now I'm finally putting them together to go and sit by my pool in them.